Here's how using one simple customer active setting in Sage Accounting can transform how you manage your customers. Let me explain. Imagine losing track of a valuable customer just because they were incorrectly marked as not active. We are going to prevent that from happening to you by showing exactly how the active customer setting changes everything about customer management in Sage Accounting. On the screen, you'll see a list of customers. Notice the active column and then all the tick marks in a checkbox for each customer, indicating whether the customer is active or not. It's not merely as simple as ticking a box to change the setting. Notice that when I tick the active checkbox in the customer list that nothing happens. So how do I change it? Well, to change the setting, simply go to the Action drop-down box at the end of the customer line. Then Edit. The Edit Customer screen will open, and from here you will be able to remove the active tick mark and then save the setting of the customer. Now the customer is no longer active on your Sage Accounting system. But what exactly does this mean? Well, it depends on other company settings in Sage. From my experience, I've noticed the active setting often causes confusion. Many users think there's a glitch in the accounting system, when in reality what seems like customer accounts disappearing is just a consequence of how the active setting is managed in Sage. But don't worry, stick with me through the video, and with the knowledge I share, we can prevent this from ever happening to you, making your customer management easy, quick and precise. Follow me to the top menu bar under Company. Change Company Settings and your Company Settings screen will open. Then Company Settings and select Customer and Supplier Settings. Options for setting customers and suppliers will open at the right. Let's look at the different options. Display Inactive Customers for selection on reports is not ticked. This means that we will not be able to get any reports on an inactive customer. I'm going to test this theory and see if it actually works. I'm going to find an inactive customer to perform certain tests on, and I'm doing that by duplicating my screen. Head over to Customers, Lists, List of Customers. I am going to search for the customer name. I think it was Vic something. Oh, there it is, Vic Bay, and you can see it is not active. So the customer is in the system, just not active, and theoretically I will not be able to send this customer a statement. Let's head over to the top horizontal menu, Customers, move your cursor down to Reports and find the customer statement. If the customer is there, we can find it in the From Customer field. But nothing happens when I type V for Vic Bay. I just want to do it again to make sure the Vic Bay customer account is not available. And yes, I'm not able to select the inactive customer account for reports at all, exactly as determined by the company setting. However, this leads us to an intriguing question. Will the display inactive customers for processing setting actually totally exclude inactive customers from various processing tasks? Let's explore this further. Let's head straight to the invoicing function of Sage. Here, I'll test how the setting works when adding a tax invoice. Pay close attention as I navigate to the customer details. We'll be looking specifically for VicBay. Remember, VicBay is an inactive customer. And as you can see, VicBay has indeed disappeared from my customer list for issuing an invoice. Now I'm curious, can we still give a quote to this inactive customer, considering that a quote isn't technically a financial transaction? Let's see how the Sage accounting system handles this. And as expected, VicBay remains absent from my customer list, even when attempting to do a quote. From the tests I have performed, it's evident that the company setting reliably delivers consistent results. It effectively omits an inactive customer from performing any transaction or appearing in reports. It's almost as if the customer has vanished, though their details are still intact in our system. Now let's look into a different scenario. What happens if we adjust the company setting to display inactive customers for both processing and reporting? Let's investigate this setting and observe the impact of this change. When I navigate to the customer quotes section in Sage and proceed to add a quote, something interesting happens. I can select the inactive customer, but then a system message pops up informing me that the customer is not active. Let's see what happens if I ignore this message and proceed to select an item. Would the system actually allow me to go ahead with this transaction? Intuitively, you'd think it wouldn't let me do this. But surprisingly, the quote is saved. Will Sage allow me to take this one step further and actually turn the quote into an invoice? I'm about to challenge the system a bit. I'm adding an additional item to this invoice, something not on the original quote. I'll try saving it. No way, it works. I expect the reports to give us the same result, but let's test it anyway. I'm going to request a customer statement now. As we delve into the customer selection field, let's see if VicBay is available. And indeed, there it is. VicBay appears ready for us to run a customer statement. So to recap, we've observed that when the system is configured to allow processing for inactive customers, it functions precisely as said. An inactive customer can still be part of transactions. Which brings us to an interesting dilemma. Why would you designate a customer as inactive, yet continue to permit processing? This seems counterproductive at first glance. Displaying inactive customers in reports, on the other hand, is logical. This feature is particularly useful if the customer still owes money, necessitating the sending of a statement or a ledger. I believe this feature is intended for emergency situations. For instance, if someone with higher authority in Sage has marked a customer as inactive and is not available to reverse the setting, others might still need to carry out urgent transactions. Understanding and utilizing these options in your company's settings is therefore essential. They offer a level of flexibility and control, but also demand careful management and a deep understanding of the implications these settings have on your business operations. You might not initially see the active column in your list of customers, but adjusting your grid settings to display it is straightforward. Let me show you how. At the top of your list of customers screen, you'll find additional settings located next to the quick reports. Look for the cogwheel icon. This opens a menu where you can customize how your customer list is displayed. Choose Customize Grid. On the left, under column heading, the first checkbox you'll find is for the active column. This is what the list of customers looks like when the active column has been toggled off. I personally prefer having the active column visible on my customer list for easier management. So let's go ahead and switch it back on. Now I'm going to reactivate the VicPay customer account. Watch closely as I do this quote. You'll notice something important. After setting the customer account to active, the warning message we've encountered earlier doesn't appear anymore. In conclusion, the customer's active setting empowers you to maintain an up-to-date and customized customer list. Also, understanding the ins and outs of this feature can save you from potential hiccups in your business operations. Thank you for joining me. See you soon.